Hello, book lovers. Welcome to Must Love Books. Hello, and welcome back to Must Love Books. Today, I'm here with author Amy Boyles. Amy writes laugh out loud paranormal rom-coms and mysteries. She has a Pharm D, a bachelor's in creative writing, and lives in northern Alabama with her husband, two daughters, and Leo the Pug. When she's not writing, you can find her either reading or binge watching a K-drama. Hi, Amy. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
I am doing great, and I am so excited to discuss your recent release, How to Fake It with a Fae.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for offering to have me here to talk about it.
So why don't you tell us, for those who haven't read it, why don't you tell us what this one's about?
Okay, so How to Fake It with a Fae is about a broody Fae king who wants revenge on a family that did him wrong. And when he finds out that they are marrying off their oldest daughter, she has to get married. He takes the opportunity to seek his vengeance, but then he doesn't expect to fall for her, and he doesn't expect it when Fae magic kind of puts the two together and forces them into a forced proximity relationship.
So we have fake dating, we have enemies to lovers, we have forced proximity. I mean, we're just checking all the boxes here of some of my favorites.
Some of mine too.
And you can never go wrong with a brooding Fae king. Never.
I don't think so either. Fae, brooding, it just works good together.
Absolutely. So what was your writing inspiration for this novel?
I read in 2022 a book called Frost by C.N. Crawford. I don't have you read Frost?
I have not.
It's fantastic. And it was the first Fae book I'd ever read. I'd never read ACOTAR, any of it. I didn't even know Fae was a thing. So I read that book, and what Christine does in that book is she takes Fae, which we know tend to be more historical. You see them in more historical setting. She made it very modern and very urban fantasy. And so when I was done with it, I tried to find books like it. There was nothing else out there like it. Nothing. Because all the Fae books are, like I said, they tend to be more of a high fantasy or a fantasy sort of setting. And so that was what made me want to write it. I knew I wanted to write Fae. I knew I wanted to write it in a modern setting. And it took me a long time to figure it out because I write series, and I was asking authors, what do I do with this idea? And someone said, well, why have you ever thought of just writing romance, like a standalone romance? And I was like, no, I've never considered that. And she said, well, think about it. And so I did, and I plotted it with some friends, and that's how it was born.
Oh, I love that so much. So I personally also write based off of, some of my favorites and finding inspiration in all sorts of different novels and even TV shows and movies. And I love how you were able to take something that you enjoyed but didn't see much of and create your own world inspired by it. And it sounds like you have a lot of support from family and friends too.
Yeah, I do. And I have a group of few of the writers that we plot every like 6 months or so together. And so it just happened to work out that they were really big helps. And at the time I was also reading which rom-coms. I knew which rom-coms were a thing. Though a small thing, and they tend to be bigger, I think, around Halloween, but there's an avid reader group for it. And there's an avid reader group, readers who were reading which rom-coms and readers who were reading just regular rom-coms and books and romances like ACOTAR and The Serpent and the Wings of Night. Like there's just a reader who loves all of those things. And so I wanted to give them that.
I love that. And it sounds like this author group is such a great resource. I love when authors are able to come together and support each other and uplift each other and, help shoot ideas and everything. That sounds wonderful.
Yeah, I think in the community, writers, we all I try to remember, a rising tide lifts all boats. I'm not competing with other authors. Like we're here to help each other.
That's excellent. And that is the kind of support that this community definitely needs to thrive. And I'm seeing a lot of as well.
Yeah, there is that in romance, especially too.
Exactly. We've got our own club.
There is like, just romance authors really all pulled together, and cozy authors do too. Yeah, but there aren't as many cozy authors as there are romance.
Yeah, that's for sure. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your writing process?
It's taken me a long time to get here, but I wake up at 4 a.m. every morning, well, Monday through Friday, and I take the dog out, I make my coffee, and then by 4:30, I'm sitting down and I'm writing, and I write about 2,000 words at that time, and then I get up, take the kids to school, and then I'm back in the chair writing another 1,000 to 2,000 words, and I do that, and then I do my admin stuff after that, and I do that Monday through Friday.
Wow, that takes serious dedication.
It does. You definitely have to be a self-starter to be a writer. And some writers want to wait for inspiration. And I have the mindset, well, I'm just going to find inspiration. I'm just going to make it work. I'm going to write until things happen, basically.
I love that. That sounds like a wonderful process. And it's really great when you're able to figure out what specifically works for you. And clearly, you've been able to stick with it. Clearly, it's been successful. So I applaud you.
Thank you. It doesn't work for everybody because some people are night owls. Like they could not ever wake up in the morning and do it.
Yeah, I definitely will not be up at 4 a.m. to write.
There's not that many of us, I don't think. Because yeah, there's not that many of us.
So, how did you get started with your publishing journey?
My publishing journey. I had attempted to be traditionally published for a long time, and I would always make it very far, book got to table, we're talking about it, but then, for what reason or another, it just didn't fall through. And then some friends, one of them who's still in the plotting group, they were putting together an anthology. And so I thought, well, I'll write something. And I put it in there and we self-published it. This was back in maybe 2013 or 2014, earlier days of self-publishing. So I tried to self-publish and I did some romance, but nothing was sticking. And then eventually I stumbled upon witch cozy mysteries and I started reading them. And then I started writing them because no one at the time was writing Southern witch cozies. No one was. Um, and so I was able to go in there and carve out that niche for myself and have kept doing it ever since.
And we are so glad that you have.
Thank you.
And, I think it's so amazing just how self-publishing has really took off just in the last couple of years. I mean, even 5 years ago, self-publishing wasn't really at the same level that it is today. Now, so many authors are not even trying to traditionally publish. They're just jumping straight into self-publishing and, finding what works for them and finding their success that way.
Yeah, you're right. And it's also changed in that the quality of the self-publishing books have had to change in those years as well. They've had to really up the game. A lot of indie published authors are, I mean, fantastic writers, have fantastic books out there. And that has been with time that we've realized, well, we have to keep improving to keep attracting readers.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that helps attract more writers to it as well when they realize, you can still be an amazing author and write wonderful stories and still self-publish. Whereas once upon a time, 10 years ago or so, self-publishing was kind of seen as, oh, you couldn't make it, so you just self-published. And I love how that has completely switched around. We don't see, that kind of viewpoint towards self-publishing much at all anymore after these last couple of years.
Yeah, I think TikTok has made a big difference in that, in bookstagrammers. I think that has really offered legitimacy to it.
so much legitimacy, and it also opens up the doors for a lot of other people who are involved with books but not necessarily writers themselves. Like now writers can hire their own cover artists and they can choose their own editors. So, I think it opens a lot of freelance work for these other types of professionals as well.
Oh yeah, designers. Like my cover artist also did character art for How to Fake It with a Fae. There's just it can just keep going what you want and need to do and what you need.
Yeah, and we've essentially created our own, not just a community, but our own type of professionalism with this as well.
Yeah, it's its own ecosystem, basically.
So, what can you tell us about what you're working on next?
Well, now I am starting the journey of the next book in the series, How to Outwit a Wizard.
Ooh, what can you tell us about that one? Any details you can spare?
This is what I will say. I will say it is a rom-com meets Freaky Friday with witches and wizards.
I'm already in love. I'm already so here for this. Sign me up. I'm pre-ordering now.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think that's just a fun concept. Let's Freaky Friday some people and make, of course, enemy people who hate each other be forced into a situation that they don't want to be in.
I love that, and I am here for it. So you have your own Facebook group, Amy Boyles Cozy Coven. Why don't you tell us about that?
That is a group that has just slowly grown over the years, and we discuss books, and sometimes they get snippets of things, and I go and ask them questions or let them see art, and place for readers can just talk to each other readers if they want to.
I love that. And that is such a great way to really connect with your readers and build such a personalized community.
Yeah, because I'm not on Twitter, or that's just not me. So Facebook is a great way to meet a lot of readers who are interested in books or don't really know about you, but want to learn more about your books.
That is great. So, besides your own books, what are some books that you would recommend to people who like your style and like your genre?
Well, I would always recommend, of course, C.N. Crawford's Frost. That's what got me on that trek. Books that I've read that are great, like Romanticides, The Serpent and the Wings of Night. Have you read that by Carissa Broad?
Yes. Oh my goodness, I love that one.
Such a great book. Such a great book. And that's indie published too.
Yeah, and she did
Fantastic book.
amazing.
She really did. She knocked it out of the park with that one. Um, Other books that are sort of like that, gosh, I am completely drawing a blank. There are a whole bunch of witch rom-coms, like the X Hex, The Kiss
Yes.
Curse, Erin Sterling. She's written those. Anne Aguirre has books, The Boss Witch. Lana Harper has she's another author in that space. There are also great writers who are writing, if you want more of a mystery, sort of the cozy mystery sort of feel, which is what I also write. People like Amanda Emily and Lee Dobbs and Annabelle Chase. And there are lots and lots of authors in either space.
And those are some wonderful recommendations. I've read several of the authors that you mentioned, and the rest I'll be putting on my TBR.
Some of them have a lot of books, so your TBR is just going to keep growing.
That's what I'm secretly here for, is just to get more book recommendations for my ever-growing TBR in case I happen to have like a spare 200 years where I've got nothing going on.
I keep mine very short just for that reason. I mean, I'll see a lot of books keep coming up. Oh, I got to think about that book, but I only work about 2 books ahead. That's as far as I go.
I have
Otherwise,
stacks, literal
oh,
stacks.
you have stacks. But are you a fast reader though?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. I can go through a book pretty quickly as long as I have the free time to do so.
I'm a little bit slower, so that might be why my TBR, I keep it short. Because it would be overwhelming otherwise, I think.
And it really helps. I've started getting into audiobooks this
Mm.
year. In the past, I always struggled with audiobooks. I would just lose focus so quickly. So I'd have to like focus really hard, or otherwise, after 10 minutes, I'm like, oh, yeah, I was listening to something. But now, my day job, I work remotely and a lot of like computer work. So I just play an audiobook while I'm working. And I find that because I keep my hands busy with something that's kind of monotonous, I'm able to really focus on the actual story. And that has like doubled how fast I get through my TBR.
Wow, it sounds like you've got it all worked out there. That's good.
Yeah, it's
I
finally
yeah,
been working.
that's awesome. I can't listen to anything when I work. My house is always silent all day long. And
Oh, really?
yeah, I used to listen to music and it would have to be classical with just or anything without words because I'll just start focusing on the words.
Yeah, I always had either like music playing, or I went through my Netflix queue and would just binge watch, put my laptop up off to the side and binge watch stuff on Netflix while I worked. And then eventually I started, trying out a couple audiobooks, and now I listen to books instead of watching Netflix. So really, really tackling that TBR.
It sounds like it. Impressive.
Thank you. So we're going to play a little bookish game. It is
Ooh,
called This or That.
that's that.
So I'm going to give you two things, and you're just going to basically just pick between the two. So we're going to start off with something easy. Do you prefer physical book or ebook when reading?
Ebook. That's because when I lie down, I don't have to deal with the heavy part of the book or keep moving. It's really that simple. That's it.
Do you prefer paperback or hardcover?
Paperback.
Honestly, me too. I know a lot of people collect the hardcovers, but when I'm actually reading, the hardcovers they just get heavy, just when you're sitting there holding it open for
Yeah,
hours.
they do. They are heavy. Like a hardback is something pretty to look at and to put away. But if I actually want to use it, because I'm a bind breaker, I think that would drive my sister crazy because I'd always just open up books so far and break the binding. It would drive her nuts when I was little. So that's why also I like paperbacks because I like my books to be worn out, I guess.
Show them how much they are loved.
Yes, exactly.
Do you prefer to buy your books new or buy them used?
I could go either way on that one, really. I don't care. I do like that I can buy the next book immediately after I finish a book.
Yes, definitely.
That's what the Kindle changed for all of us is wow, now I can just buy the next book. I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to stop reading. I can just keep reading.
And that one actually leads right into the next question, which is great. When reading a series, do you prefer to buy them one at a time, or do you just buy the whole series?
I'll do one at a time.
I am terrible at buying an entire series before I've even read the first book.
That is so funny. But I mean, if you don't want to have to stop, I get that. I totally understand.
Exactly. I don't like having to wait for the next one. I will buy, if it's a trilogy, a duology, or ACOTAR. I bought all of ACOTAR at once without having ever read a single word.
Oh, wow. Wow. Because you didn't know if you were going to like it or not. Of course, most people are crazy about it, but still.
Yeah, so I mean, so far it hasn't bitten me in the butt. I've always liked what I've, read. I haven't bought in a series and then turned around and regretted buying it once I finally started reading it. So far it's worked out.
Well, that is good. I don't think I could be that brave.
Now, would you rather read on a beach or read in front of a fireplace?
Fireplace. Sand gets everywhere.
It really does. We don't want sand in the pages. We don't want sand all over us. Yeah, I like a good fireplace read.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people, on Bookstagram especially, are always showing off what they're drinking while they're reading. So, do you prefer coffee or tea?
Well, probably tea with a book.
Iced or hot?
Hot. Lemon. I mean, not lemon, honey. Honey in mine.
Excellent. I'm an iced coffee girly myself.
I mean, iced coffee, there's something to say for a good iced coffee. I totally understand.
I make cold brew at home by the like half gallon.
Oh, wow. So you're serious about your iced coffee.
Very serious. Coffee is actually my first love.
Oh, I love hot coffee. And I'll drink ice, but I'll buy it. I'll buy it from the refrigerated section. I won't even bother to make my own.
You know what? I also buy plenty of coffee too, so I get it. All right. Well, that is this or that. You went through all of them.
Oh, that was so fast.
I know. We like sped through those. But that's technically how the game is supposed to work. You're supposed to, on a whim, just kind of, first thought is what you go with. So we did great.
Thank you. Yay.
This has been so much fun. Do you have anything else that you would like to share with us today?
Gosh, no, nothing that I can think of. Or yes, people can contact me if they have any questions or a K drama that they want to suggest. I'm always looking for a new K drama to watch.
I haven't watched many K-dramas. What is one that you would recommend giving a try?
Oh, if you just want a really good rom-com, King the Land. It's really good.
What got you interested in K-dramas?
Well, you know what? I was at a conference and a writer was saying, she's like, I don't watch a lot of American TV. She was one of the keynote speakers. She said, I watch K-dramas. I was like, huh, I'm gonna start watching K-dramas then and see what the big deal is. And then the stories are so good. They really flesh out romances. You really get to know the characters. They just really spend time with the characters. So it's like a book in that way. You're not rushed into a 2 hour movie, or it doesn't just keep going like American series sometimes will, going on and on. It's 16 episodes. That's all you get.
Wow. So a 16 episode arc will basically give you like a complete story.
Oh, for sure. Yes.
That's great because with American television, especially with how so many shows are available on streaming platforms, you never know if you're going to get a completed story because so many of them just get canceled.
I know. I know. And then you get all invested and then never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, the number of times where I watch like a first season or, sometimes there's even a second season and get really into a show and then find out that they're never going to continue it. I mean, that hurts.
That does hurt. You just want to know what happens.
Yes, just give me an ending, even if it's short. Like, even if we're sticking with limited series, like, tell a full story, give us a full arc.
Yeah, that can be really frustrating and
Yeah.
sad. It's like if a series and a book just ended.
Yeah, we've had that happen too. That also hurts.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
guilty of that. I've got a couple series I need to get back to writing, but sometimes you
what,
just don't know what to write with a character. You just don't know.
so that brings me, are you more of a plotter, pantser? How do you focus on?
Mostly pants, but it's a combination of the two. And it depends on the book. I always know where it's going to go, what the end's going to be, and may often major points along the way. But how I get to those points, I don't always know how that's going to happen.
That's generally how I write too. I'll have a general idea of like, this is going to be the main thing that happens, and how it happens, well, we'll figure it out as we go along. But recently I had an idea and I decided to try an outline just because I've never really done one for this one is a fantasy. So I have not really done one for this type of writing. I've only used outlines for like academic purposes.
Yeah.
So I sat down, I'm like, let's just try it, see what happens. And next thing I know, I had a 10,000 word, 14 typed page, 3 book outline in front of me. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess this might work for me. So that's what I'm working on now and seeing, how I can take that outline and bring it into an actual story. So now
Now,
I'm
is this romantic?
experimenting. This one it's a romantasy, yes.
Well, it's very hot right now. Strike while the iron's hot.
Yes, absolutely.
But yeah, I'd love to read it when you're done.
Oh, definitely.
I
I
love a good romance.
I don't have, anything to release about it right now, but maybe when this episode airs, I'll be able to have more information, but I will definitely keep you updated. And I like to occasionally put updates in my episodes here and, on the social media pages and stuff. Just of my writing, even if nothing is published yet. I just like to let people know what I'm doing.
They want to know. We want to know.
Absolutely. I'm going to be keeping an eye out for How to Outwit a Wizard.
Ah, yes.
I'm looking for those updates.
Well, they will be there. There will be plenty of them, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again. This has been such a pleasure having you here today.
Thank you, Krystle. I appreciate it.
And I will include all of your links in the episode description, and we'll be sharing it on our Instagram page and our Facebook page. So anyone who enjoyed this episode and wants to learn more about you and your books will be able to find you and check you out.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for listening. This has been Must Love Books. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Patreon under @MustLoveBooksPodcast. Thank you and happy reading.
You know that feeling when you're about to score 30% off, but they want your number? Ugh. Give them your Line 2 number instead. It's a second line on your phone, perfect for nabbing promo codes without inviting spam to your party. Sign up for every discount under the sun, then block the junk texts that follow. You get all the perks, but none of the spammy baggage. More codes, less chaos. Visit line2.com/audio or download Line 2 in the App Store and get your shopping sidekick today. Because the only thing blowing up your phone should be good deals.